Hello, all sports fans, and welcome to the first episode of my brand new podcast, All Sorts of Sports Shorts. I'm your host, Nicholas Sarysz, and within this podcast, I will be providing both fact and opinion on recent events throughout the sporting world. I also try to have guests on most of the upcoming episodes. For this episode in particular, it'll just be myself, and I'll be looking at the Seahawks' Week 17 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. I'll also dive into how it affected each team and the entirety of the NFC playoffs. The biggest headline surrounding this game was the return of Marshawn Lynch. With the injuries to Seahawks running backs Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, and CJ Prosise, the Seahawks were left with their fourth-string rookie in Travis Homer. Because of this, they signed retired running backs Marshawn Lynch and Robert Turbin. Marshawn Lynch was eager to return using the term unfinished business. This term seemed to be hinting at the fact that he was not able to run the ball from the 1-yard line in the 2015 Super Bowl, in which they lost to the New England Patriots on a Russell Wilson interception near the end of the fourth quarter. Although it seems to be a regret for the Seahawks and their fans alike that they did not run the ball in that situation, I think there's a clear reason why. At the press conference a week before that game, Marshawn Lynch talked to the media unlike the year before. However, he only used the term, "I'm just here so don't get fined." And in his touchdown earlier in that Super Bowl, he grabbed his crotch as a celebration while diving in. For this reason, I'm fairly certain that the Seahawks and the NFL didn't want Marshawn Lynch to be a big face of the franchise and the NFL as a whole. For this, they wanted Russell Wilson to make the game-winning touchdown rather than Marshawn Lynch. And that's why they didn't run the ball. By no means this is fact or confirmed, but I think there's something to that, and that's just the opinion I hold. So really, this was setting Marshawn Lynch up to have a hero story. And I think there was a perfect spot in this game where it would have happened. Marshawn Lynch scored a touchdown against the 49ers in this game from the 1-yard line, diving over the offensive and defensive line. There was a chance for them to win this game with Marshawn Lynch from the 1-yard line, and a chance for him to make this hero story. And as a Seahawks fan, and honestly just a football fan, I would have loved to see it happen. I think it would have been one of the coolest moments in Seattle Seahawks history. They got the ball to the 1, and on 1st and goal, they ran up and spiked it. Was that the best decision? I think it probably was, because they're not known for running quarterback sneaks, and they didn't have any timeouts left. So they spiked the ball, and it's 2nd and goal from less than the 1-yard line. And Marshawn Lynch grabs his helmet and begins to walk on the field. And for a moment there, everything seemed to stop. The crowd cheered, fans watching at home got to the edge of their seats, no matter who they were a fan of, and started paying really close attention. And seemingly, so did the Seahawks, because they weren't paying any attention to the play clock. It ran down to 0, and they took a delayed game penalty. Now, I'm not sure who this falls on, because Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, and their offensive coordinator are all very highly intelligent football minds. But it doesn't matter, because that put them back on the 6. And it was a shame to see that be taken away from Marshawn Lynch and the Seahawks, but it was really just them shooting themselves in the foot. There was almost another opportunity for this exact same situation to happen. Because either a down or 2 later, Russell Wilson threw the ball about 3 yards deep in the end zone to tight end Jacob Hollister. And Jacob Hollister was being assaulted. Let's be honest. The refs didn't call pass interference. And refs make or miss calls every game, but it came at a tough situation for Seahawks fans. And no matter what team you are a fan of, it was a blown call. This resulted with the ball going to Jacob Hollister on 4th and goal and being tackled less than a yard short again. I mean, millimeters away from winning this game. And it's really a shame that it ended the way it did, especially for Marshawn Lynch. Because here was his moment. And I firmly believe, with all of my heart and my mind, that that would have been the second earthquake game Marshawn Lynch caused at his time in Seattle. You remember the Beastquake in 2011 in the wild card round of the playoffs against the New Orleans Saints, and Marshawn Lynch's touchdown run caused such an uproar, and there was an earthquake originating from CenturyLink Field due to fan celebrations. It was quite the sight to see. And for the chance of it happening again years later is just baffling, and like I previously said, I firmly believe that would have been another earthquake game, and that would have been something amazing just as a football fan to see, and it was a shame that it didn't happen. However, I do believe that the loss worked out better for the Seattle Seahawks. Because of this loss, they were not division winners, and they gave up the 1-seeded San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks didn't even have a chance at a first-round bye, whether they won the game or not, because of their losses to the Rams and Cardinals just a few weeks back, which is a whole nother joke within itself. But they now play a Philadelphia Eagles team, and although they're unlikely and not going to get any playoff games at home this year, I think they have a better chance of beating a beat-up Philly team on the road than they do a strong Minnesota Vikings team at home. If the Seahawks are able to beat the beat-up Philly and the Saints take care of the Vikings, which I firmly believe that they will, then they'll be playing the 49ers again in the divisional round of the playoffs. There's one thing I noticed in the Seahawks Week 17 loss, and that is that Russell Wilson flourishes when running a tempo offense. It was clear to me that he was locked in and made amazing decisions when he was running that tempo offense in this last game, and I've noticed it a few games prior. The only thing about this is they'll likely not be utilizing Marshawn Lynch as much as they'd like, and the fans would like. However, they could utilize the spark they have in Travis Homer and Robert Turbin, because if you can recall, Robert Turbin was best known for his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield before his retirement. Honestly, the Seahawks lack talent, but they have a magician of a quarterback, and they have plenty of heart to make plays and win games that nobody thought they'd ever be able to. Between the Seahawks, the Packers, and the clear NFC frontrunners of the 49ers and the Saints, it is shaped up to be a very electrifying NFC playoffs this year. On the AFC side, there are two clear frontrunners in the Ravens and the Chiefs, however you can never count the Patriots out of any situation. Either way, there's going to be plenty of exciting football in the near future, and as a Seahawks fan, I hope they're a part of it. Now I know this episode was short, but that is in the title, and I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. If you did, I encourage you to share it with any of your other friends or sports fans, or even subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening. There will be another episode of All Sorts of Sports Shorts prior to the start of the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and another one in regards to the NBA standings. Much ado, and once again, thank you for listening.